Hello and welcome to this session on machine learning. In this session, we are going to discuss about machine learning. So basically, we'll have brief introduction to machine learning and the different types of machine learning algorithms. So what is machine learning? So machine learning is the science of programming computers so that they can learn from data. So here basically we train or teach computers to understand the data and to figure out insights from the data. So we'll be using certain programming language to teach that. So machine learning is actually a subset of artificial intelligence. Similarly, there is something called as deep learning, which is again a subset of machine learning. So machine learning can also be called as a study of computer algorithm. It can also be called as a study of computer algorithms that improve automatically through experiences. So here basically like we use different algorithms to program. By using those algorithms, we'll be programming computers, and by that, like computers also try to improve based on experience. So basically, we can simply say it is the science of programming computers so that they can learn from the data. So here, like if you look at few examples, there are like a lot of examples with respect to machine learning. So right now, as the data has improved, we have humongous amount of data which is available, and to use those amount of data, we can do a lot of things by using those amount of data. Like if you take some example, like how does a human learn a lot of things? Okay, like how do we understand things? We can recognize, we can do computation, we can do logical thinking, reasoning, all these things. So how it is possible? It's all possible because of the data. So like our brain gets trained with those datas, and that's how like we learn. We get those trainings from teachers, we learn it from places, computers, from books and other things. So that's why like here also like we have a lot of data, and we have to feed those data to computers so that computers can also understand. And to make them understand, we have to train computers. So that's what we basically do here in machine learning. So if you look at examples or the applications of machine learning, there are many examples. Face recognition is one example that comes more into deep learning, but again machine learning is also part of it, as deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So face recognition is where machines can recognize faces. Like there are a lot of devices right now which can recognize a human face. Like it can detect a human face, it can distinguish between a human face and an animal's face. So those kind of things are possible right now, because what we do is here we will be training a lot of data to computers, saying okay how a human face looks like and how animal face looks like. Based on that, computer, once it learns, it will be able to distinguish. So in face recognition, it can also detect individual faces. Like it can detect person A and it can distinguish person A from person B. So like that also it's possible. So in computer vision, there is something called as computer vision, like where all these vision applications comes in, like face recognition, object detection, a lot of emotion detection, a lot of things are there in that area. So that also is a part of machine learning. And if you look at some other examples like traffic predictions, which we have seen in real time, like when we use app Google Maps. So in Google Maps, how do they know like how much time will it take from one place to the other place? So that those kind of data has been trained in computers, like our mobile devices which we are using is also a computing device, but they have their own servers, own systems in which they have already trained those kind of things, saying okay from one place to the other place based on the distance, like how much time usually it will take, what is the average speed of a vehicle, to go from one place to the other place. So all this has been trained within the computers, and that's how it can predict. It can also predict like if there is a traffic jam somewhere, if there is a jam, like how does it do that? That's also based on data points, how much data point is there in a particular place and how much data point can actually be accumulated within a particular place. So by studying all these data, it is able to do so many things. So traffic prediction is also one good example of machine learning. Sales and market prediction, this is also a very good example. Like sales and market prediction, predicting the future sales value, like if the company is going to be in profit or going to be in loss, uh, what's going to happen in the future, this one, if you take some example like time series analysis, stock market prices, like if the stock is going up or going down, what is the what's going to happen, what is the certainty with the price. So all these things can be predicted. What is the trend of the market? So all this is done right now by understanding data. Then the other application is like email spam filtering. Earlier, email spam filtering was done by looking at keywords, and by looking at keywords, it was detected if the mail was spam or not. It's called as spam or ham filtering. Later on, machine learning techniques were implemented to improve the email spam filtering techniques. Similarly, if you look at bioinformatics, also machine learning is used. So bioinformatics actually deals with computational and mathematical approaches for understanding and processing biological data. So in bioinformatics also there are a lot of applications studying the DNA sequence, genomics and all. So a lot of applications are there in bioinformatics as well. So bioinformatics also has gained a lot. Right now, a humongous amount of data is available in bioinformatics areas also. So there are a lot of applications with respect to that. So if you look at some other applications, there are like many applications like virtual personal assistants. That's also one example. Video surveillance to detect if there is any thief or anyone. Okay, all those things can be detected right now. In social medias, also a lot of places this is used to figure out how people are using social media and how do we improve that particular social media content. How do we show content to a user based on the liking of that user. So that's also one application. Similarly, like customer supports, online customer supports, which are currently being automated. A lot of customer supports are being automated with machine learning techniques and all. So there are many applications, and all these are possible because of the data. Like we have humongous amount of data, and data is increasing every single second. Humongous amount of data is getting added over the internet, over the intranet, local networks and all. So to study and to analyze and to use it for certain applications, we use machine learning. So machine learning can use this particular data which we have accumulated, and based on that, it tries to understand more from the data. And by using this, it can also help us in solving real-time problems. So now if you look at types of ML systems, there are basically many types. Few of the common ones, the usual ones are supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. These are the common types of machine learning systems or machine learning techniques. So you'll understand each of them one by one, like what are these supervised, unsupervised. So these all are like machine learning techniques or machine learning systems. These are also called as like machine learning algorithms. So supervised learning has certain algorithm, unsupervised has certain algorithms. Based on the scenario, based on the type of problem, we'll use different type of techniques or different type of ML systems to solve that particular problem. So these are the four types of machine learning techniques which are out there. Like these are the basic ones: supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised, reinforcement. So these are the basic like division of machine learning systems. So now first we'll look into supervised machine learning. So supervised learning or supervised machine learning is where you have some input variables and an output variables, and you use an algorithm to learn the mapping between the input to the output. So here basically we have some x values and we have some y values. So we have two things here, x and y. So x is nothing but some input variable and y is the output variable. This output variable is also called as label. Like output in machine learning technique, we call it as label, or it's also called as target. So now we have x and y both. So if we take some real time scenario to understand this, suppose if we take data for COVID-19. So to figure out which patient has COVID-19, which patient doesn't have COVID-19. Now to understand that, there are two there will be certain inputs saying the patient data, like the age of the patient, the body temperature of the patient, the blood pressure of the patient. So there will be some patient records. So there will be some inputs. So those patient records are nothing but input, and the output will be okay if the patient has got COVID-19 or not. Suppose that is the output. So we have input and output, and here we'll be using a mapping function to relate both input and output. So here we'll be having a mapping function. So this mapping function is going to be our algorithm. So which will decide, like there are many functions here, like in supervised learning many algorithms are there which will help us out in mapping our x with y. So in this we can train computer saying when this set of given data is there or given input is there, what will be the output. So we can train computer on that. To take some real-time example and to understand this, suppose we have a fruit basket. We have a fruit basket. There are many fruits in the basket. So here, suppose we want to train computers saying how does a fruit look like how to recognize a particular fruit. Suppose we have to train computers so that computers can also recognize fruits. Like when we show any fruit, computers should be able to recognize that. So here basically what we will do is we will train computer saying, suppose we will divide the fruit characteristics saying all fruits have different shape, all fruit have different colors. Okay, like that we'll be dividing a few characteristic of fruits, saying if the shape of the object is round and it has depression at the top and the color is red, then we will label it as apple. So we'll say it's an apple. It's nothing but label or our y. Y is apple based on some x values. That is, if shape is rounded and it has a depression at the top and the color is red. So like that, we'll train computer. So once we train computer how a apple looks like, now suppose after training the data, we have given a new separate fruit, say apple from the basket. So we'll take a fruit like which is not trained, like the apple fruit, which we haven't trained. So we'll show a new apple to the computer. So now based on the characteristic of that new set of data, computer will also be able to predict because it has already learned how a apple looks like. So it already knows the characteristic of apple. So now if we show a new apple, it will be able to predict that because it has already learned that. So this is called as supervised learning. So it's like supervising a kid, like teacher supervising a kid. So here we are just supervising computer saying, okay, this is how things are. If these are the situation, this is the output. If this is the input, that is the output. So like that, we are just training. We are just supervising computer here. So that's why it's called as supervised learning. So in supervised learning, we have input variable and we have output variable, and we use a mapping function to map this input and output. So we have to know, like we have to learn this, like which kind of mapping function to use in which kind of scenario. So there are various types of algorithms which are there in supervised learning. So we should know like which algorithm works good for which kind of scenario. Now here, the main goal of supervised learning is to approximate the mapping function so well that when you have new input data, it can also predict the output variables for the same. So here basically it should like the main goal is to find out mapping function, and that mapping function should be very much accurate. So that's what is very important here. So here in supervised learning is a learning in which we teach or train the machine using data which is well labeled. So here we need a data set which is labeled, like we should have X as well as we should have proper Y values. Then only we can teach. Now suppose to take some example, take some more example. Suppose a doctor has to like how does a doctor know if a patient is diabetic or not? Suppose there is a diabetic doctor. So how does a doctor know if a patient is diabetic? Now doctor doctor already has taken training, like saying okay how what all features to look for to find out if a patient is diabetic or not. So similarly, if we train computers, we have to train in the similar way, saying these are certain features which we have, like suppose we'll say age, gender, then body mass index, glucose level, insulin and other values. So we'll train computer saying based on these features, like if these are the parameters, and if within the parameters these are the values, then you can say this patient might be diabetic. So how does a diabetic patient looks like? and how does a non-diabetic patient looks like. So once we train that to computer, so we will have certain X values like BMI, that is body mass index, glucose and other things, and we'll have the label saying yes or no, if that patient is diabetic or not, yes or no. So like that we should have some Y values also. So once we train computers on labeled data, then it will fall into supervised learning. So now supervised learning is categorized into multiple parts. So like we can say types of algorithms under supervised learning. There are two categories of algorithms under supervised learning. One is called as classification algorithm. The other one is called as regression algorithm. Now a lot of algorithms are there which works for both classification as well as regression. Now classification algorithm or classification problem is when the output variable is a category such as red or blue, disease or no disease, like that. So if it is a categorical value, then we can use this classification algorithms. Then regression problem is when the output variable is a real value such as dollars, weights, those kind of thing falls under regression. So some common types of problems built on top of classification and regression include like recommendation systems and time series predictions. So some popular examples of supervised machine learning algorithms are linear regression for regression problems, uh, random forest for classification as well as regression problems, support vector machine for classification problems. So these are some famous algorithms which are there in supervised learning. Now looking at unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is where you only have input data and no corresponding output variable. So in this case, we don't have any output variable. We just have the input data. So that will be unsupervised learning. So in this case, we don't know how to supervise computer. We don't know how to train computer. So now suppose we have some diabetes data, but we don't know if the patient, like we have some data and we don't know if the patient is diabetic or not. So we cannot train computer saying, okay, how to look for a diabetic patient. So in this case, it will fall under unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is where we have data which is unlabeled. So data is not labeled here. So we don't have data being labeled. But there are a lot of problems like which can be solved with unsupervised learning. So the goal of unsupervised learning is to model the underlying structure or distribution in the data in order to learn more about the data. So here basically unsupervised learning algorithms are those which will try to analyze the data. It will try to understand the structure or the distribution of the data in order to learn more about the data. So here we rely completely on computer or completely on the algorithms. So algorithms try to figure out the pattern. It shows us like how is the pattern within the data, or how is the structure, or how is the distribution within the data. So that's what like algorithms will try to show us, and from that we will try to figure out. So these are called unsupervised learning because unlike supervised learning, there is no correct answer and there is no teacher here. So algorithms are left to their own devices to discover and present the interesting structure within the data. So here we completely rely on the algorithms. Unsupervised learning is the training of machine using information that is neither classified nor labeled and allowing the algorithm to act on that information without any guidance. So here basically algorithms try to figure out insights from the data without getting any external guidance and all. So now here to take some examples, there are a lot of examples which falls under unsupervised recommendation systems. There are different types of recommendation systems. Few can be implemented with supervised learning. Few recommendation systems can be implemented with unsupervised learning also. Now to take an example, suppose we have to suppose there is a e-commerce company. Taking the example of Amazon. So suppose Amazon is there. Now Amazon suppose Amazon wants to send offers to their users. Now to send those offers, they want to divide their users, saying premium customers and regular customers. They just want to figure out who are the premium customers or non-premium customers. So they want to send different kind of coupons to premium and different kind of coupons to non-premium. So now they don't know who is a premium, who is a non-premium customer. So they suppose have a lot of data now. So what they can do, this lot of data what they have, they will try to analyze how people are purchasing from their platform. So what is the purchasing behavior? What is the purchasing behavior of their customers? By looking at that, they can figure out like who is premium, who is non-premium. So they will give all these input data to computer saying, okay, these are the purchasing behavior, and computer will try to group them or cluster them out saying, okay, these are the two types of different users which are there within the platform, and based on that they can send coupons. So this is one example. So like that there are many examples. Now here, to take one more example, suppose we have a data set of cricket players, but we don't know if they are bowlers or batsmen. So we just have few data saying the name of the players, but we don't know if they are batsmen or bowler. We just know their runs and wickets, and by studying those, we need to figure out who all are batsmen and bowlers. Suppose we have a data set which says these are the runs which are scored by that player, and this is the wicket which has been taken by this player. So we have to figure out if that player is batsman or a bowler. So here, what the unsupervised learning algorithm system will do, it will plot the wickets on the x-axis. Suppose it will plot some wicket on x-axis and run scored on y-axis. Now, once it does that, we'll be able to see multiple clusters of data. So we can say like people who have scored more runs and less wickets, they will form a different cluster. People who have scored less runs and taken more wickets, it will form a different cluster. So by analyzing these clusters, we can figure out like who is a batsman, who is a bowler. So batsmen will eventually score more runs and bowlers will take more wickets. So by looking at that, we can do this division of batsmen or bowlers. So this is one example of unsupervised learning. So there are many applications of unsupervised learning as well. Now again, categories of unsupervised learning. As supervised learning is categorized into two parts, like multiple parts supervised learning algorithms, like regression and classification. Here also in unsupervised, we have two categories of algorithm. One is clustering, the other one is association. So the previous example which we saw, that is grouping or clustering the bowlers or batsmen, like clustering the data. So it's like clustering, so grouping the data. So clustering problem is where you want to discover the inherent groupings in the data, such as grouping customers by purchasing behavior, the example which I was giving earlier. And the other one is association. This is also a very important thing in unsupervised learning. A lot of applications are there in association. Association or association rule learning problem is where you want to discover rules that describe large portion of your data, such as people that buy X also tend to buy Y. To take this example, so it's like suppose Amazon has to figure out people who are purchasing their mobile phone. Okay, what other thing they might be interested to buy with that mobile phone. So you might have seen in Amazon, it will show like people who are buying this mobile device are also interested in this particular cabinet for this mobile. So it's nothing but it's a association rule mining technique which is used there. So this is also unsupervised learning. So some popular examples of unsupervised learning algorithms are like K-means for clustering problems and a priori algorithm for association rule learning problems. So these are some popular algorithms which are there in unsupervised learning. The other one is semi-supervised learning. Now there is one more technique called as semi-supervised learning. So semi-supervised learning is an approach to machine learning that combines a small amount of labeled data with a large amount of unlabeled data during training. So here actually what happens, like we'll have data which might be labeled as well as unlabeled. So we have a mixture of both. So here we will use mixture of both techniques, supervised and unsupervised. So a good example is a photo archive where only some of the images are labeled and the majority are unlabeled. So here by studying the labeled data, we can also figure out the unlabeled data, or by taking the unlabeled data, by grouping them using some unsupervised learning technique, we can train computer with the group data also. So many real world machine learning problems falls into this area. So this is because it can be expensive or time consuming to label the data. Most of the data will not be labeled, like we might not have y values. So it may require some access to domain expertise. So that's why like labeled data is very difficult to find. So whereas unlabeled data is cheap and easy to collect and store. So that's why like semi-supervised learning techniques can be used in those places. The other technique which is there is called as reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is more considered like a different area of study. It is more towards AI. So it's like very deep into AI. There are a lot of deep learning techniques also used within reinforcement learning, but it's completely a different kind of machine learning technique. And this technique has something called as agent. So reinforcement learning is a type of machine learning technique that enables an agent to learn in an interactive environment by trial and error, using feedback from its own actions and experiences. To take an example here, the best example for reinforcement learning would be self-driving car. So suppose self-driving car is a agent like which has got some computing in it. So some computer is attached to self-driving car. Now that will try to learn. So that is nothing but an agent which will try to learn in an interactive environment. So that self-driving car will try to learn in an interactive environment. So where there will be a lot of things like saying, okay, traffic lights, different kind of roads and all those things. So it will try to learn in that interactive environment by trial and error. So it will try to learn like how to drive the car by making mistakes and errors. So it will keep on trying. So here, once it tries those, it will get some feedback, and it will get feedback based on its actions, and from that feedback, it will gain some knowledge and it will try to learn more, like what is the right way to drive a car. Okay, so this feedback can be positive or can be negative. So if the agent makes a mistake, then it will be called as penalty or it's called as negative reward. If it does the right thing, it will get a positive reward. So here the learning system called as an agent in this context can observe the environment, select and perform actions and get rewards in return if it performs the right actions, and if it performs a wrong action it can get penalty or negative reward. So then it must then learn by itself what is the best strategy to get the most reward over time. So what is the best strategy? Strategy is also called as policy here. So it will learn like what are the best strategy to gain more and more reward. So once it learns that, it will know that this is the right way to actually drive a car or to actually perform some action. So a policy defines what actions the agent should choose when it is in a given situation. So here policy is a very important thing here. Like that will decide what action the agent should take when it is on a given situation. So now this is reinforcement learning. Now reinforcement learning has improved a lot. There are a lot of applications in reinforcement learning because of huge amount of data which we have. We can train computer with those, and right now with the computing systems also becoming more faster, more powerful, we can use this reinforcement learning techniques. There are a lot of applications in reinforcement learning. So one more application just to understand here, one example is there. Suppose there is a robot, and this robot, suppose this is a game, and in this game this robot is there which has to go and get the diamond by following a shortest path, and it should not cross this fire. So there are certain fires in some places, it should not cross that, so it has to find a safe way to reach to the diamond. Now to do that, this robot might perform different kind of actions. So if it performs a right action, we will give reward. If it performs a wrong action, we will give it penalty. Suppose reward is +1 and penalty is -1, like that. Or we can say, okay, penalty is -2. So we can set those values. So here, suppose it took a right turn, we'll say like +1, it got a reward. Again, a right turn +1. If it took a wrong turn, we'll say -2. So once we give negative rewards, so the score will reduce. So here the robot will try to understand where it can get maximum score in less time. Also, one more important factor is it has to get the diamond, or find a path to the diamond by following a shortest path. So it should reach faster. So that's why like it will understand, okay, what is the right way, so that by looking at the reward, where it is able to get more rewards over time. So this is one example of reinforcement learning. Now there are many such examples in reinforcement as I gave. Like one is self-driving car. There is something called as Sony Aibo. There is a robot like which is also created using reinforcement learning techniques. There is a very big example. Like this is a very nice example. You can look into this. There is something called as AlphaGo program. There is a company called as DeepMind. This DeepMind is currently under Google, and they have something called as AlphaGo. So AlphaGo is nothing but It's a program which was developed by DeepMind, and this program is used to play a game. That game is called as Go game. So this AlphaGo program actually defeated the Go game champion by learning the turns in the game, like how to win the game. So it tried to learn by itself by performing actions and making mistakes, getting rewards, creating policies. All that it did by itself. So here, like once a particular set of strategies are defined, it will try to keep on improving by experience. So that's also one of the important thing in reinforcement learning. So here computers try to learn by themselves how to improve, so that by getting like once we define the complete structure, it will try to improve, thereby by performing different kind of actions, interacting with environment, it will try to improve itself by its own. So this is one major area of machine learning, that is reinforcement learning. So now to summarize all of this, so what all we saw, like we saw four different techniques which are there in machine learning. We just talked about what are these different techniques, and what are the different applications within these techniques. So one is supervised learning. So supervised learning is where we have input as well as output, and we use a mapping function to train computer, like how input and output are related. So here supervised learning is nothing but here all data is labeled, and the algorithms learn to predict the output from the input data. And in unsupervised learning, all data is unlabeled here, and the algorithms learn the inherent structure from the input data. So here it tries to understand the structure or pattern of the data. That is unsupervised learning. Semi-supervised learning, here some data is labeled, but most of it is unlabeled, and a mixture of supervised and unsupervised techniques can be used here. And the other one is reinforcement learning. It is a completely different learning mechanism where the learning happens based on feedback from the system. So this is all about the different machine learning techniques and introduction to machine learning. Okay, so we'll keep it till this for this session. Thank you for attending.